morning to all MotoGP fans from the Sepang circuit. We're live to bring you all the excitement of the Malaysian Grand Prix. Just a few more moments and the images will take us to the starting straight for the Moto2 class race. It's been a long weekend, but we finally reached the moment everyone's been waiting for. Just a few more minutes and the race will start. The weather conditions are ideal for racing, but riders have complained of a lack of grip over the weekend. To overcome this problem, many of them have chosen to mount a hard rear tyre. Who will celebrate winning the Malaysian Grand Prix? Riders have completed their warm-up lap and are lined up on the Sepang grid, ready for the start.
Lights out, we're racing in Moto2 here in Malaysia. Marcos Ramirez from second on the grid immediately fires himself into the lead on this long run down to the hard-braking zone for turn one. Here comes Celestino Vietti. Agura going around the outside of Ramirez, who was the early leader. Agura then it is that's going to take second place here behind the fast-starting front-row starter of Celestino Vietti.
Shades of Barcelona, that wasn't it for Agura? There was no interest in going along the right-hand side of the racetrack and slipstream up anyone. He just stuck to the left-hand side, went right around the outside.
He's there. How on earth has he stayed on board? Fermin Aldeguer, who crashed out in the first lap in Thailand last weekend, to be replaced by Alberto Surra. Well, Aldeguer's replacement also down on the first lap.
Three riders have brought out the yellows in sector 3. Surra, Aegis and Van den Gorberg. Turn 9, Jake Dixon was trying to take 2 or 3 places into all of that, and we've lost 3 riders on lap 1.
Yeah, and Vietti has lost contact with the rest of this field here in Moto2. He is streaking away at the front here in Sepang. Well, let's check Vietti's lead at the end of this electrifying first lap from the number 13. Surely it's going to be the thick end of a second. Otherwise he goes 1.4 seconds is the advantage Vietti has established already. Agura trying to fight straight back through on Ramirez. Very defensive there, very late on the brakes there, wasn't he, the number 24. Ramirez, maybe the weak lack of strength in the left shoulder, because that's successive laps now that Ramirez has picked him up by 0.4 of a second in that second split.
Yeah, he tends to win that time back again in the rest of the lap, as Dixon once again was getting bowled into turn 9. This time his former teammate Albert Arenas is the rider being overtaken through there. So Dixon now back up into 7th place. Navarro had a go at trying to pass Guevara into the same corner just up ahead of them, but had to back out of it. Really for a couple of weeks, but he's not able to do much training either with that injured shoulder, so fatigue may be an issue more than tyres as this race gets into its latter stages for the leader.
Arbolino, Moreira, Gonzalez, Ketat and Salach all fast.
3 spots already. Garcia back down to 20th now.
How has Sergio Garcia slipped nearly 100 points off the top of this Moto2 World Championship when he was for so long the series leader? What a real brutal second half of the season it has been for Garcia, who's disappearing without trace once again here in Malaysia. Here is the race start then. Keep a close eye on Agura, the newly crowned world champion, because he's starting from the head of that 3rd row of the grid in the shade of 7th place, and he just starts motoring towards the front, starts clicking through the gearbox on that Triumph 765cc 3-cylinder engine, and he's almost into the lead. In fact, he's side by side, isn't he, with Vietti and Ramirez when they both, all 3 of them, hit the brakes. He was briefly up from 7th to 2nd there was Agura. Further back then, are we going to see what happened? That's what the sort of back end of it.
Yeah, the rider at the back of that train was Surra. Certainly Van den Gorberg and Aegis were up ahead of him, although we didn't see really what led to that, whether there was any contact further back. But 3 riders down and two others heavily delayed by him.
Yeah, and that was a horrible position for ages to be in. You could see how anxious he was just to make sure that going down sort of mid-pack, a lot of riders still to come through the scene of that particular climb, and everybody able to pick their way safely through, thankfully. Battle pretty good at turn 15, pretty much equal gaps before all of our top five now as they power down to this final corner. On board with Agura, he's got Navarro for company behind him on number 9 by Navarro, closes up there, does the mid-corner, carries good corner speed there, Navarro, through that final turn. Let's just check over the line we go. Vietti just under half a second is the gap. Vietti lost when he did a 2:08.3 with the mistake right here where he lost the foot going into that first corner. It cost him over half a second. That's why we just
That third place. It'll be interesting to keep an eye on the lap times as we come across next time around to see, without that mistake that he made of course on the previous lap, if Vietti can get himself back into those 2:06s, or whether this is the sign of Vietti starting to tail off slightly.
looks like it's been a mistake strewn race. Oh, there's a twitch there for Vietti as he got on the power on the curve. Under half a second ahead of Ramirez. Where was Guevara? Guevara did a 2:07.8 on that last lap. So, yeah, Guevara lost 6 tenths to Navarro, 8 tenths to Agura, 7 tenths to both Ramirez and Vietti. A very tough lap 7, that for the number 28.
A lot could still happen in this race yet, though. We're just coming up to he has indeed crashed, so we've now lost both of the Intact GP riders.
Yeah, Binder's recent strong one is all unravelling a little bit. That's going to be successive DNS now, isn't it, for the South African down at turn 15. Having a close look there then at Ayagura. Just slotting in behind the two American racing machines. Jake Dixon is now creeping closer towards his Aspar teammate Ethan Guevara. Dixon took half a second out of the Spaniard qualifying yesterday, but he's all in for the win here, isn't he, Agura then? Back into the podium places. We know what a silky smooth rider Ayagura can be. His tyre preservation, one of his real weapons. That was close. It was very, very tight, wasn't it? He was coming through there, whether Ramirez liked it or not.
Ramirez certainly wouldn't have liked that because he's now been relegated out of the podium positions. Just keeping a track on the sector times. Navarro has closed in again through sectors 2 and 3 on Vietti. He has cut that lead in half, started the lap at 6 tenths. It is your screen. Ayagura's name has dropped down. Is he out of this leading group? We'll pick him up. He is. Ayagura, the world champion, has gone down.
Well, there is going to be no celebratory victory here in Malaysia then for Ayagura, because just at the point of the race where we thought, having got through Marcos Ramirez, he was going to start charging towards Vietti and Navarro. Unfortunately, racing zones around this Sepang International Circuit, 2:07.4 was the first lap I can recall in the last sort of 5 or 6 where he's actually been quicker than Navarro behind him. The gap now back up to over 3 tenths of a second.
Yeah, the gap we're keeping an eye on too now is the gap between Navarro and Dixon, who runs third. Dixon did a 2:07.2 on the last lap. This is what happened potentially to Ayagura coming out of turn number 9, and he had a problem, and that's where Dixon lost a little bit of time. He had to go right the way to the left-hand side of the racetrack as Agura's bike shot off.
We're moving to Parc Ferme with the live coverage where the 3 podium finishers have just arrived. The winner is over the moon and is rightly indulging in celebrations with his team members.